In a world untouched by human civilization, where the earth still breathed in its raw, primal rhythm, life was a constant test of instinct and courage. The forests were deeper, the shadows darker, and every sound carried a meaning, sometimes a warning, sometimes a threat. This was the age of Homo Habilis, the early toolmaker whose footsteps marked the beginning of human history. But millions of years ago, survival did not belong to the strongest alone, it belonged to those who could adapt, sense danger before it struck, and face the impossible with an unbreakable will. Today, we travel back into that forgotten world, where a single early human stands on the edge of life and death, facing a creature far larger and more powerful, a giant prehistoric goat, armed with massive horns, brutal strength, and territorial fury. This is the story of instinct, courage, and the earliest spark of human intelligence. A moment that shaped what it means to be human. The morning sun had only just begun to paint the sky when the forest awoke with its ancient chorus. Millions of years ago, before the world knew language, cities, or the comfort of safety, survival belonged to those who listened. Deep within this primeval landscape, a lone Homo habilis moved silently through the mist, his breath steady, his eyes sharp. His name is lost to history, as all names were in that age, but he carried something new, something dangerous and powerful. Not muscle, not horns, not fangs. He carried awareness. He walked barefoot through the moist soil, feeling every tremor the earth offered. Today's mission was simple yet vital. Find food, find wood for tools, and return to his small group before nightfall. A spark of intelligence guided every step. His stone scraper, crudely shaped yet precious, hung from a strip of plant fiber around his waist. Birds burst from the canopy overhead. Leaves rustled in strange patterns. Something was wrong. His instincts tightened. He crouched low, pressing his palm to the ground. A vibration pulsed beneath the dirt, slow, rhythmic, heavy. Not the silent steps of a predator. No, this was something larger. Something territorial, something that moved with the confidence of a creature that feared nothing. A deep grunt echoed through the valley. His heart hammered. Then, through the trees, it appeared. A giant prehistoric goat, far larger than any goat known to modern humans, stepped into view. Its horns curved like great scythes, long enough to pierce a wooden tree trunk. Its muscular body towered over the early human, and its nostrils flared with the scent of an intruder. The Homo habilis froze. Running would trigger the chase. Standing tall would invite a charge. He had only seconds to choose. The goat stomped the earth, the force vibrating up his legs. Pebbles rolled. Birds abandoned their perches in terrified flight. The air thickened with tension. For the first time that day, the hunter felt a chilling truth. He was the one being hunted. Slowly, he stepped back, careful not to break a twig or rustle a leaf. But fate ignored caution. A branch snapped beneath his heel. The goat's eyes locked onto him, its muscles coiled. And with a thundering roar that shook the valley, the beast charged. The forest exploded into chaos. The Homo habilis sprinted, weaving between trees, branches slashing at his skin, heart pounding like a drum of survival. The chase had begun. The giant goat tore through the underbrush behind him, its hooves smashing rocks, leaves, and anything foolish enough to be in its path. The Homo habilis gasped for breath, knowing he could not outrun the beast forever. Strength was not his advantage, but intelligence, that was his weapon. He darted toward a cluster of boulders, a place he remembered from past hunts. A narrow crevice split the rocks, far too small for the goat to enter, but just wide enough for him to slip through. If he could make it. The goat lunged again, its horns slicing through branches like blades. He dove into the crevice, the stone scraping his elbows. The goat crashed against the rock wall with a thunderous impact, sending dust raining down from above. Safe for a moment, he pressed his back to the cold stone. His breath shook. His mind raced. He couldn't stay hidden. The goat's patience would outlast his. He scanned the ground. Stones. One sharp, heavy, perfect for striking. Another long and narrow, ideal for carving or piercing. His ancestors would eventually call these things weapons. To him, they were hope. He squeezed the stones, feeling their weight, feeling the power of possibility. The goat backed away, regrouping. Its nostrils blew hot mist into the cold air. It circled, searching for an angle. Then it positioned itself for another attack. This was the moment. Fight, not flee. As the goat lowered its horns and charged once more, the Homo habilis sprang from the crevice. Instead of running away, he ran toward the beast, an act no creature in the forest expected. Timing was everything. At the last second, he pivoted to the side, slamming his stone against the goat's sensitive flank. The creature bellowed in pain and confusion, stumbling. He struck again, faster, smarter, aiming not for strength but for vulnerability. The goat staggered, its massive horns crashing against a tree trunk. Opportunity. He darted behind the creature and climbed atop the fallen trunk, gaining height. From above, he hurled the sharp stone downward with all his strength. It struck the goat squarely between the horns. The beast collapsed to its knees, dazed. The forest fell silent. Breathing hard, trembling, the Homo habilis stepped back. He didn't kill the creature, for he had no desire for needless death, but he had survived. Not through power, but through mind. A realization flickered behind his eyes, a spark that, millions of years later, would ignite the future of humanity. Intelligence is the greatest tool of survival. The sun broke through the canopy, casting light on his battered body and determined face. He turned toward home, carrying more than food or wood. He carried a lesson, a legacy, a story that would echo through generations long after the forest itself had vanished. This was not just survival. This was the beginning of human greatness.